welcome to day number 19 of 90 Day Challenge to Grow a Podcast Business. And I'm not going to lie, this is an update of the challenge and how far I've been coming. So while going stream today, while going live today, I literally just came into another era, another situation. And it was like, dang, it said that you can't stream on YouTube yet. So I have to wait 24 hours for I'm allowed to be able to stream on there. Nonetheless, there's always a lesson behind the failure. I'm often asked, how come I don't be down by a lot of things that I go through? And I always often explain that I'm always learning from the failures. Failures knowledge, because you're able to learn so much more if you just identify the lessons that's there. So that's some random statement that I want to say. Like we're just alike. In this live stream, we are going to be talking about the actions that I'm taking today. Today is Saturday. And what I'm starting to recognize is that if I want to grow a podcast business, I have to do it every single day until I'm able to bring in more people. And then when I bring in more people, every single day I have to show up. So every single day you have to show up. But first I want to lead by example and show up every single day. So I have to start establishing a routine, a schedule. So that way I can go live at a certain time every day by doing some type of business, by doing some type of outreach and so on and so forth. It's not just about content. When I came to recognize in my fourth attempt of growing a podcast business is that it's not just about creating content. What it is about is more so of you creating value more consistently. Than for you to have a business, you have to have something to sell. Yesterday in day 18 podcast live stream, I went over what we have. Like if you have a package and in the mail comes, there's nothing in the mail or in the mail or envelope, then it's kind of like a waste of package. Whereas if you package your offer or product or business correctly, people will start to see the value that's in your envelope or it is in your package. And so one thing that I'm starting to recognize is that now that I have the offer, now that I have something that I can give to people, I have to start talking about it more. And the business spotlight is a package where we highlight the business on a story so our audience, so new customers can learn more about their business and their why. And it was so challenging for me to really like get to a point where I can just say like, this is the business that I'm in a podcast business. This is what we sell. This is how we help. This is how we position ourselves. In addition to that, there's so many lessons that you are going to learn as you are in business, as you are growing, as you are establishing your brand, your business model, and so on and so forth. And so this challenge is going to be completely different because I have more clarity, I have more understanding, and we're talking about business. It's something that I enjoy. Oh my goodness. What's going on, chat? What's going on, chat? Let me know where y'all chiming in from. We're talking about business. Like, I remember when I went to college after I graduated high school, I went to college looking to be a physical therapist. Reason being was because I tore my ACL and my meniscus in my right knee. It's like ligaments in your knee or whatnot, or things that keep your knee and be able to move or whatnot. And when I was going to physical therapy, the physical therapist there was like, yeah, man, like he really like helping people. And I asked him like, why do you enjoy this? Like why did you, what encouraged you to get started? And he was like, yeah, man, I just really enjoy helping people. And I think I can help people by being a physical therapist. I still remember him. He was a cool dude. He was a smart guy. And as I was going to physical therapy and doing different trainings, my knee was getting stronger. I'm able to do certain things that I could do at first, but now have to be more aware of the knee. Like I have to have like a confidence in my knee now. And I'm like, how do you have confidence in your knee if you just had surgery? And so the whole time I was going to therapy, he was helping me build more confidence in my knee. Like he was helping me strengthen it. He was helping me run, lift weights, ride the bike, so on and so forth. And when I started going to school, I was like, I'm going to be a physical therapist because I want to help. You know, the same reason that he told me. I had the same reasons because he helped me go from point A to point B. And I'm thinking to myself, I said, it's going to be a good career. It's going to be a great career. And what I didn't recognize during that time was that it's more than just a career. Because as you are going to college, as you are getting educated, you are learning how to be a physical therapist. And what he didn't tell me, or I probably didn't ask, was that the classes that you are going to have to take, there are a lot of science classes that you will have to learn about. Now, I didn't recognize that, nor did I understand that. But when I start taking the classes to become a physical therapist, I said, I don't want to do this no more. I said, I'm not even good in biology. I can barely pass biology. I failed biology. I said, this career is not for me. I said, yeah, I don't think I want to be a physical therapist. I failed biology. Wait. Then I start talking to people who was in the same program or wanted the same interests or whatnot. I'm like, wait, hold on. Like, there was ahead of me. I said, how many science classes would you have to take to become a physical therapist? They was like, bro, your whole career is... It's your degree. Your whole degree is full of science. And I'm like, full of science? I'm like, man, I don't need to know that. I don't need, no. And so I started taking college classes, and over time I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to do physical therapist. But I don't know what I'm going to do, but it ain't going to be physical therapist. So the reason I'm sharing this story is that when you are starting something new, when you are learning about the thing that you're starting, what's going to happen is that you're going to get better over time. What's happening is that it's okay to change what you would like to do. And when you find the thing that you are good at, you have to go all in on it. And so when I changed my college major from physical therapist to integrated public relations, that was next. I recognized I was like, I don't want to just focus on just public relations. I just don't want to focus on that. And then when I changed my major again, I ended up learning about business. I ended up understanding the language. I said the language that I'm learning is the language that I got interest in. But how do I know that? Because I failed the first couple of times. I tried it. I didn't like it. Then I said, I'm going to do something different. You see, when you're failing, you have to be okay with shifting your perspective. You have to be okay with shifting what you're going to grow into. But see, as you're shifting, you're growing. You can only grow if you're able to learn. You can only grow if you're able to try something new. You can only grow if you recognize that you don't like the thing that you just tried. Why is that important? Because you have to identify the space that you are in. It's not that a lot of different careers are the wrong career. It's more so that the right career, the right position, the right role will speak to you. Because it's interest. You have interest in learning about it. When I changed my college degree, my counselor, my school counselor was like, do you just want to learn about public relations? Because I mentioned like that was my degree. And she was like, well, if you learn about business management, you'll be able to learn a little about everything that has to do with business. And I'm like, I didn't even think of that. But when she said it, I'm glad she said it. Because when I start going to classes and I start taking the class, some classes, okay. Some classes, it wasn't too exciting. However, I'm learning a little about everything. I'm learning piece by piece. And the information I'm gaining, I'm like, I'm in the right space. You see, failure is knowledge because you have to be willing to try something new and be okay with failure. You cannot gain the lesson until you gain the experience to recognize the experience is teaching you a lesson. You see, what's happening in life is that life is going to teach you the lesson whether you're ready or not ready. If I step outside and I go for a run, life is going to teach me a lesson, because if I get up and show up, I exercise. Whereas if I just stay in the house, if I stay in the bed, if I stay comfortable, I'm not learning anything. And that's when I understood. I said, oh, failure is knowledge, because you have to be willing to try a new skill. You have to be willing to learn the skill, develop the skill, understand the skill. Because many times in life, it's not that you don't understand it. It's more so that you don't recognize the lesson that's been brought out for you. And the reason why I say this is because this challenge, 90-day challenge, is bringing the lessons out, because now I know the type of business I'm in. I'm in a podcast business. I'm in the podcast space. And the podcast business is not just a conversation. Nah. It's more than that. It's more than just me getting to know this person's story. It's more than just this person coming onto my platform and they sharing their story. It's more than just a conversation. It is a business spotlight to where this business owner can come onto the Phase Knowledge podcast and share their story and their why behind their business. It's not that a lot of people don't know about you. It's it's more so a lot of people don't know your why. I said I'm in the right space. I'm in the right area. I'm on the right stream. Because now I think I found my path. I think I found my goal. I think I found what I enjoy talking about, looking into, reading about, researching, studying, and so on and so forth. I don't know if you can see it behind me, but I got a little shelf back there. Oh, that ain't supposed to be there. That's too much in the way. I got a shelf back there, and I got books. Now I'm gonna be honest. I haven't read all of them. In addition to that, I've read some of them. And I started to recognize that if you want to learn new information, 1, go to college. 2, start reading books. 3, get a mentor that can help you understand the information that's in these books. And I started to recognize, I said, hold on. It's not that I don't know the information. It's that I don't have the right people around me to understand what the information consists of. You see, there's some terminology that's in business that's really confusing. For instance, KPI. I want to write on a board. KPIs, key performance indicator, and it's supposed to be simple, but in reality, it helps you keep track of the people, of the daily work that you're doing. Why is that important? Because if you're not tracking what you're doing, you're not in business. I said, ooh, that's different. Because if you're not tracking your results can be wasted. And I'm like, why is that important? I recently learned that data, I learned this from a billionaire. And it was like, data is the most important thing that you have. If you don't have past information, if you don't have data that you can look at on a daily basis, you don't know what you're doing. It's kind of like you're guessing. And I never understood the importance of not guessing. But I read this in a book or a quote or something like that. It said that the data tells the story of the business. And so if the business doesn't have the data or keeping track of the data, by data I'm talking about people that they reached out to, people that bought something, people who became customers, so on and so forth. If businesses are not tracking that, how do they know what's working, what's not working, what can be improved, what's good, what's not good, what's bad, and so on and so forth? I started to recognize, I said, oh, you got to start tracking what you're doing. You got to start tracking and documenting and organizing your actions. Because if you're not tracking your data, if you're not tracking your results, if you're not tracking the outcome that you're having, how do you know what's working and what's not working? You see, I started to recognize, I said, hold on. This is not just a challenge. This is not just a challenge. It is more than that because I'm learning how to have a business based off having mentors, based off being in business communities, based off making content around business. It's so critical to be okay with giving yourself time to learn this information. And I'm about to share my screen right quick. Oh, maybe I can just do it like this. I'm about to share my screen. There we go. All right. Hold on. Let me come back to the screen. I'm about to share my screen. Let me know if y'all can see it. All right. There we go. Let me know if y'all can see it. Hold on. All right. There we go. If you haven't yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button because if you're here to learn about business and to be a part of the challenge, just know we are talking about podcast business. You see, one thing that's so confusing is all these acronyms. What an acronym is like a nickname for something. In fact, when I was in the Marine Corps, we had a lot of acronyms. Like one was JJ did top buckle. The other one was like it was so many of them I can't even remember them. Nonetheless, acronyms help you remember everything that's going on. Like for instance, FIK is failure is knowledge. I didn't recognize that was an acronym until now. Didn't even recognize that. Ah, God, dog. That's okay. Okay. Anywho, I digress. So with KPIs, you have data. With data, you have, let's say 1, 2, 3. Let's go to 4. Hey, man, let's go to 5. Keep it an odd number. And what the 5 can consist of, let's just say 5. Go right there. Okay. You got 5 days or 5 contacts or 5 weeks or 5 months. And the number 5 is different for anything that you're looking at. There could be 5 days. It could be 5 contacts. And by contacts, I'm talking about people that you have reached out to. It could be 5 weeks. It could be 5 months. The number 5 can be different kinds of things. Why am I sharing this? Because what I started to recognize a couple years ago when I was working with my mentors in real estate. Oh, hold on. Make sure I'm still good. All right. When I was working with my mentors in real estate, we had to track the amount of people that we reached out to, the amount of people that we followed up with, the amount of people that we had a conversation with, the amount of people that had a follow up call, the amount of closes. I didn't really close anything, so it wasn't enough for me to count. However, 5 can represent so many different things. Like the number 5 can represent so many different things. And what I didn't fully understand when I was working with them was that it was helping identify the work that you're doing or the work that you have completed previously. And so one day we was talking, and let's just say that I had to reach out to 10 people. 10 people. And I reached out to 7 people. I'm not hitting my numbers. My KPIs, my key performance indicators are low because I'm not hitting my goal. I'm not hitting that 10. I'm not reaching out to 10 different people. I'm falling short. Here's why that's important. Here's why this matters. Because in business, if you're not hitting your goals, at least it's what I'm learning, what I've recently discovered, if you're not hitting a goal that you're setting, you're doing something wrong. And what I didn't recognize was that I was doing something wrong because I didn't know that I needed to hit 10. I thought 7 was okay, whereas 10 was the standard. 10 people you're going to reach out to is the standard. Anything below it, it's not the standard. And so with the number five, it's just an example of there's so many different things that five can represent. And when you have a KPI, a key performance indicator, you have a chance to document what you are doing, how long you've been doing it, why it matters, and how many people have done it, the next step. With this perspective, it gives you an idea of where you are at. And what I started to recognize, because I had to start my YouTube channel over. I had over 723 subscribers, 1,600 and something videos, and my channel got deleted. Got deleted because I wasn't in compliance. And it was something that I wasn't paying attention to, nor did I know I needed to pay attention to it. And so the YouTube was like, well, since you're not in compliance, your channel got to go. And so since my channel has gone or has been deleted, I was like, dang, I wonder if I can start another one. I wonder if I can start another YouTube channel. I wonder if I can try again. So luckily, I was able to create another page. But see, the thing with this YouTube is that I have to start over from zero. hold on. You gotta see the screen from there. Hold on. See, the thing about this page is that I have to start from zero. But why does that matter? Because I had progress. I was making progress over time. I was getting more clear. I was understanding what I was doing. But see, what I discovered this morning is that, unfortunately, my YouTube channel got deleted. However, since I'm starting over, my page is going to be specifically for the podcast business. The type of content is going out. It's going to be for the podcast business. How it's produced, how it's published is going to be around the podcast business. Now, my content is so narrow. When people start to find me, they start to find content around podcasting. And I was like, oh, that's golden. And it's unfortunate. I have to start over. However, when people come to my page, people are going to know what my page consists of. Come on now. Hold on. Let me share my screen again. There we go. Hold on. Alright, there we go. Hello, let me see my screen. Alright, there we go. Okay, why is it important? We're talking about KPIs right now. So, what I've been doing, let me do underneath this. Hold on, let me do underneath this. Oh! Key performance indicators. I'll give you a better example. So, in 2021, the Failures Knowledge brand came to life. The Failures Knowledge brand came to life. And during this time, a couple years ago, I was selling t-shirts. And when I was selling t-shirts, I was in the Marine Corps. We was in, make sure I'm drawing it right. Yep, there we go. T-shirt 1, t-shirt 2. T-shirt 1, t-shirt 2. And this one, I had, let's just say 30 shirts. 30 shirts. 30 shirts, and this one, let's just say 60. Just to keep it simple. 60 shirts. So, I remember this like it was yesterday. I remember this like it was yesterday. I had the idea, so when I had got to where we was going, and as we was there, Before we left, I was like, wait, hold on. During this time is when COVID-19 was going on. The world was shutting down. People couldn't necessarily go outside and do anything because like we literally could not do nothing. We couldn't do nothing. Excuse me. And so we was about to go on this mission. And it was in the works. It was in the planning process. And I was like, yep, okay, these people are going to go. There's a list of people going to go. If I call your name, stand on this side. Cool. That was like, but we don't know for sure if we're going to go. So maybe it was like 2 to 3 months before we got confirmed that we was going. And so before then, it was like, might go, might not go, might go, might not go. And so when I first heard the news that, hey, y'all might be going here for X amount of time to do this mission, and this mission is going to consist of you leaving from your unit. And so during that time, I'm like, okay, this is my first time leaving. This is my first time going somewhere. And what came to me was that, hold on, okay, in 2020, the world has shut down. Like, it literally shut down. People could stand, we had to stand 6 feet from each other. And when I start to recognize, I'm like, hold on. Okay. We in the service, we in the Marines, and every week we have to get a haircut. Every week. I'm talking about Monday through Friday come, the weekend, you have the weekend to get your haircut for Monday, so Monday you could be presentable. And when I started to recognize, I'm like, wait, hold on. Okay, everybody that's going are Marines and Navy, like everybody that's going is in the military. And then I'm like, hold on. We all need haircuts. If you're a man and you're in the military and you didn't have a haircut, eventually you will be told that you need a haircut. And so I'm thinking, I'm like, hold on. I got it. I bought some clippers. I went to Walmart, got some $29 clippers. And I started to practice on myself. I said, okay, I'm gonna use myself as the test dummy. And I'm practicing. And I can say, my haircut did not look like what it looks like today. However, I still cut my hair today. I digress. And so then I called my buddy. I was like, hey man, I'm about to start cutting hair. Do you mind if I cut your hair? And he was like, yeah man, no problem. So he came over. I cut it. It was not good. It was not good. If you know what a bowl cut is, like, picture this, a bowl on top of your head, and the barber just went and just cut to the line, and now you have a bowl on your head. No, it was horrible. It was horrible. And when we went, I said, hold on. If I just use this opportunity to start practicing to get better, eventually I'll get better. And so we get word back a couple weeks later that we are going to this place. It's confirmed. You're going. And I was like, I think I figured it out. And so as we was going to get ready, I said, I'm going to use these clippers to get my foot in the door. And so as we was going around talking to people, I'm like, hey, I cut hair. If you need a barber, I'm your guy. If you need a haircut, I'm your guy. So I'm going around, talking. And when I recognized that I figured it out. I recognized that I was onto something. So I started cutting hair, and I made X amount of money. So then I was like, wait, what I really want to do is this failure is knowledge thing. Like, I don't know what it's going to lead to, but I'm going to start with t-shirts first. And this is what the example with the t-shirts come in from. So my first pair of t-shirts was cream. Was cream. I'm put it right here. Cream. And then the second pair of t-shirts was red. In fact, the t-shirt right behind me is my second pair that second t-shirt that I ever had before. And so, to get back on the topic with the KPIs, the key performance indicators, my first pair of shirts, I had 30 total. I had 30 total shirts. And I'm like, okay, if I sell 30 shirts for, let's come on this side, for $15, I think I had charged them for $15. 30 shirts times 15. Hold on, I don't know what that math is. 30 shirts times 15, I'll be able to make $450. Did I make 415? Let's just go with the numbers now. I'll be able to make $450. But I had to sell 30 shirts in order to hit this goal. And so I'm like, okay, where do I go? Well, there's a whole bunch of military personnel here. What if I just start here? Mind you, still was COVID and we couldn't necessarily leave. So I started in-house. And so I start going around to people and start talking. And what happened, that I wasn't expecting, is that I was able to sell 30 shirts. And so I hit my goal. Goal hit. I hit my goal. Hello. So I hit my goal and I was like, oh, I like that. Let's do it again. And so when I did it again, unfortunately, I fell short the second time. I didn't sell out. I had got a thrill that I sold out in it. And let's just say I sold half for the shirts. I had 60 shirts. Let's just say I sold 30 shirts for $15. That's $450 again. But I was supposed to sell 60 shirts and make $900. Is that $900? Yeah, $900. 60 times 2. Wait. That's not what it's supposed to do. Hold on. 60 times 2. No. It's supposed to be 450. 450 times 2. $450 times 2, that was $900. 450 times 2 equals $900. Okay, I was supposed to sell all of the second batch and go home with $900. But it did not happen that way. Not even a little bit. But what did happen is that I start to understand that if I have 30 shirts and I need to sell 30 shirts, I need to speak to more than 30 people. Because if I'm just going to 30 people, I'm not selling anything. I'm not selling anything because I'm going to get a lot of no's, I might get some yeses, so on and so forth. But if I go to 30 people, I'm limiting my goal. Whereas, let's just say it's 90 people there. If I go to 90 different people, eventually 30 will say yes. But if I don't go to 90, how do I track that? How do I document that? How do I say X amount of people? Or for my key performance indicator, I had 30 shirts and I spoke to only 2 people. I'm not hitting my goal. You see, you have to be okay with setting a goal. I recently learned this from a billionaire. I didn't even recognize I did it back in 2021. But going to different courses and so on and so forth, I was like, wait, I was already doing that? It's some things that you're already doing, but you don't recognize that you're doing. I was already doing it, but at the time, I didn't know it was called business. I didn't know it was called key performance indicators. I didn't know it was called data. I just thought it was something that I had a goal for. I had 30 t-shirts and I sold out on the 30 t-shirts. I kept one for myself. I kept one. Why? Because I believed in the product. I believed in myself more than anything. But during that time, I'm like, I want to sell all these, and I'm gonna go to as many people as I can go to try to sell them. To try to sell them. And I did that. And I was able to sell out. Sell the shirts out. Not sell myself out, but sell the shirts out. Okay. You got to clarify that. You know what I mean? You know, sell out over here. Only for if you believe in the product. That's the only way you get to sell out. If you have something to sell. How does that work with today's time? So, great question. Glad you asked. I will be more than willing to answer it, because that is a question that I had for a long time. Okay, so why does that matter today? So, I'm just gonna keep it simple. If I have a goal to work with, I'm just gonna put my goal. Work with 10 business owners so they can spotlight. Hold on. Work with 10 business owners so I can sell them the business spotlight, comma, I have to speak more. I have to speak to more than 10 people. Let's just use 10 as an example. 10 as an example. Okay. 10. So 2 people say yes. 6 people, no response. What was that? 2 say yes, 6 no. Hold on. Oh, that's kind of confusing. Hold on. That's kind of confusing right there. Okay. There we go. Okay, let me start off. Okay. 10 is the goal. 10 is the goal. Okay. So if I want to sell 10 to 10 people, 2 yes are going to say yes. 6 going to say or no response. What's that? 8, 1 say not right now. Not right now. What's that? 6, 7, 9, 9, and 1 says no, but I know somebody. No, but I know somebody. No, but I know somebody. So if I only speak to 10 people and I have 2 yeses, right? Oh, not right there. 2 yeses, 6 no responses, 1 not right now, and 1 no, but I know somebody. If I'm trying to hit my goal of speaking to 10 people, I would have to speak to more than 10 people. Because the odds are not all 10 are going to respond. Excuse me, but the more people you have to communicate with, the more you can hit your goal. The faster you can hit your goal. Let's just say now. Let's see where we at. Okay, let me flip the page. Let's just say now I'm a increase. I'm gonna keep my goal the same, but I'm going to increase the amount of people that I reach out to. BERTIFIN. Okay, I still have the same goal. I still have the same goal. 10 people, 10 business owners. Okay, my product slash service is the business spotlight. Business spotlight. And the goal is still 10. So let's just say 10 times 10 equals 100. And 100 divided by 10. Put that right there. Put that right there. Oh, you can't eat. Hold on. 100. Okay. Let me start this over. There we go. Okay. 10 times 10 equals 100. Okay? 100 divided by 10 equals 10. So if my goal is to get 10 business owners onto the Phase Knowledge podcast so they can spotlight their business and get new customers, learn more about the why behind their business, I need to reach out to more than 10 people. If I reach out to 100 people, I'm able to document how many say yes, how many say no, how many say not right now, how many refer somebody. So that way, if I want to achieve my goal of getting 10 business owners onto the Phase Knowledge podcast, I would know that speaking to more people will end up giving me that result. Because if 10 people come from speaking to 100 people, the 100 people will come from different places. That's what I discovered for this fourth attempt of going to podcast business. It's not just about having a conversation. No. Okay. It's not just about a conversation. It's more so about having a way of doing things and doing the thing consistently. So what if I just break it up into 7 days? I have to reach out to 10 people today, 10 people tomorrow, that's 20, 10 people the next day, that's 30, 10 people the following day, that's 40, all the way up till I get to 100. But what if I reach out to 20 people in one day? What if I increase the amount of people that I'm reaching out to get faster responses? I saw a video a while ago and he was talking about how they made $1 million within a month. And when they made $1 million within a month, they said that they have a 45,000 community that clip up their videos and so on and so forth. And then they have like different things that they offered for their business, for their business or whatnot. But to reach out to 100 people individually would be challenging because individually, think about knocking on 100 houses. You have 100 houses to knock on. And you go door by door by door by door. You call that door knocking. And as you go by door by door by door by door, your odds are very slow. Door two, door three, door four, door five, all the way up to 100. I'm not saying that you can't do it. But what I am referring to is that now me understanding the podcast business that I'm in, I have to speak to more people on a daily basis. I have to reach out to a lot more people consistently. But why am I sharing this? Because my fourth attempt of growing a podcast business, my first 3 attempts, I wasn't really reaching out to people to be on the podcast or because I didn't know the business that I was in. I didn't recognize that I needed something to sell. I need to reach out to people. I need to be consistent. So the key performance indicator is an indication, is an indicator of you reaching out to people. But you can't reach out to people if you don't know what you're selling. You can't reach out to people if you don't understand the business that you're in. You can't reach out to people if you don't know the problem you solve. You see, for my fourth attempt, I start to understand. I'm like, wait, I'm solving a problem. And when I started my first 90-day challenge, people was like, Find a problem that you can solve and solve that problem. In my mind, I'm like, what problem is that? How do you know what problem to solve? Like, how do you know? At first, when I was doing my first 90-day challenge, it was around helping entrepreneurs launch their podcast, grow their podcast, and make money from their podcast. Not that that's a bad business. It's more so that it's not hard to launch your podcast. If you have a phone and you have a camera, you can launch your podcast. It's as simple as that. So then I'm trying to figure out, like, what's the way to help others? How can I help others? It wasn't the fact that the launching your podcast was a challenge. It was more so of what do you do after you launch your podcast? How do you be consistent? How do you grow your podcast? How do you make money from it? Then I recognized, I was like, wait, I'm solving the wrong problem. It's not that the problem that I'm solving is overwhelming. No. When people said earlier about finding a problem to solve and then solve that problem to the best of your ability, one thing that I recognize that a lot of people left out is that find a problem that a lot of people lack confidence in. So I'm like, wait, okay, so what problem is that? For my fourth attempt of growing a podcast business, I found it. I discovered their problem. A lot of business owners are already operating. They're already up and running. They're making the money. They have the teams and so on and so forth. But I started to recognize that a lot of people was lacking exposure. A lot of people was lacking people knowing them. A lot of people was lacking the ability to spotlight their business. So that way new customers can learn why they got into business. I said, I think I figured it out. You see, The Phase Knowledge Podcast is not just a podcast. No. What I started to recognize and learn over time is that this platform is giving a spotlight for businesses to come on and share their why behind why they started. But it took me a while to figure out the business that I was in. It's not just about a conversation. It's not just about me learning more about you. No. It's bigger than that. It's not only bigger than that, it's more important that I have something to offer people who struggle to market themselves accordingly, to share themselves accordingly, to share their stories accordingly. And then that's when I recognized, I said, I think I figured it out. And I'm sharing this because you're not going to figure out on your first attempt. It took me 4 90-day tries to discover the business I'm in. From joining different mastermind groups, business community groups, different business courses, get accepted in different business programs, going to different pitching competitions, and trying to figure out what business am I in. Based off the experience, the learning, the books, the education, and the 90-day challenge that I've done now my 4th time, I understand that the podcast business, I understand I'm in the podcast business to spotlight business owner stories. So new customers can start learning their why behind their business. Come on now. And if you're struggling to spotlight your story and need a place to where you can communicate about your why, shoot me a message at The Phase Knowledge Podcast, and we'll be more than willing to spotlight your story. It's not that your story is not good. It's just that you're not telling it to the right people. It's just that your story isn't been heard enough. You see, the best thing that can happen / worst thing that can happen was me losing my entire YouTube channel. But the best thing that came from me losing my entire YouTube channel, my entire videos, my entire everything, was that now, as I'm starting over, I'm not starting over from nothing. I'm starting over with experience, with a blueprint, and with an ideal business to follow. You see, the key performance indicator are indicators that you have to follow every single day. And now I'm learning the importance of knowing your numbers, because your numbers tell the story. You can only tell your story if you are identifying where you are at. So let me know in the comments if you have gained your biggest takeaway so far on not only day 19 of the 90-day challenge to grow a podcast business, my fourth attempt, but your biggest takeaway on key performance indicators or KPIs, on the things that you need to start tracking for yourself. Let me know your biggest takeaway from that. I love to read it. Love to read it in the comments. And one thing that I would have to say is, if you're struggling to get your story out there so you can have more customers, go to the Phase Knowledge Podcast and comment below, I need a spotlight. And our team will reach out to you so that way your business can be spotlighted. I appreciate y'all. This is day number 19. We're going to wrap it up for day number 20. Be prepared, because tomorrow is a Sunday, but on a Sunday we going to show up. So we need y'all to show up with us. And we appreciate y'all.